Stephanie from the Whimsy Lark Vintage Treasures, and today is auction day. I love a good auction, and we have one close to our house every other Monday, and they have preview on Sunday. So the footage you're going to see first is of the preview. I decided to film at that time because it's less crowded, and you can get a better idea of what's being offered. And there are a few trays that I'm interested in. Most of it will be booth items, and I am shying away from some of the larger breakables right now because I have some news to tell you in the next video, but it does involve traveling. So because of that, I am watching my eBay items and making sure I purchase things that are less breakable at the moment. So let's go inside and take a look, and wish me luck. Here's a quick overview of some of the furniture that's up for auction today. You can get some really good deals here if you're looking to find furniture for your home or for reselling. And I'm a sucker for vintage Christmas. I love Santas, and this set here was right up my alley, and I'm definitely going for this tray. And as you can see, there's still salt and pepper in them. Someone loved them too. This little yellow elf was adorable, and there's some pretty old ornaments on this tray, and I'm going to go after this one. There's just too many neat ones in there to pass up. There's some clear glass. And you do have to look under the tables because they do put some stuff in there, and depending on how big some of the estates are, there could be a ton of stuff under the tables and easy to miss things. This little box here is what I call a shard box, and it's a piece of porcelain that may have broken from a vase or a plate, and then they shape a box around it. This had a modern sticker on it. I would have still purchased this with the modern sticker, but the porcelain did have a chip on it. And this box here, I do like picking these up as well. It did have mother of pearl inlay in it. Woven baskets. I always love that kind of stuff. And books. I love books, but these were more like religious textbooks, and I just passed on them for now. You can see there's just a mishmash of everything. Oh, here are the animals. These I saw in the photos on the auction website. These are dream pets, and I had never seen anything like that before, and I did think they were very interesting. They are very dirty, but I think they could clean up some, and depending on what they go for, I may go for them. We'll have to see. You can see I was really looking at them. I'd never seen that. Cute little mouse. These had like a gold etching on them, but the one was pretty worn. This next piece I'm grabbing is an elephant. This was nice. It was made in Japan, and I thought it was interesting. It had some other animals on the tray. There's a box of gloves. You can't quite see it, but they were like leather gloves. Oh, this was one of my number one trays I wanted. It had a lot of interesting things on there, and these mugs were from Finland, and these were definitely on my list. Each of those mugs, even though one had some chip in the enamel, as you can see there, they were running for about $35 to $50 each. And there were two of them on this tray that you can't quite see. And these little shells, I first thought they opened like, like a trinket box or something. And doing this one-handed, it was really funny. I did figure out that they were tape measures. And there was two of them on there. And I just thought that was really neat. A lot of that stuff would have gone well at the booth. And you can just see some of these trays just don't really make any sense. They just put together whatever's there. And this Santa, I did want to go for this one, depending on how it started. And that was an interesting find. I wouldn't have cared if the light worked or not. I probably would have kept that for my collection. And these jars are great as well. Just lots of little bits of everything. Lots of dogs and horses. Some silver plate. And yeah, this tray here, I really like this tray. These wall pockets are adorable. They're made in Japan. I wouldn't mind having one for my shipping room. I want to do a wall up so I can look at pretty cute things while I'm shipping and doing stuff for eBay. And I like this tray as well. This Matchbox cover, I really like that. It did have matching salt and pepper shakers. I don't know if that was a coincidence, but it was kind of odd. But I liked all the little bits on there. That makes great booth filler. There's an e-pern there. And another place auctions are good for is to get china. If you're looking for a set of china, vintage or not, you could find whole sets here. Sometimes these really don't sell for a few dollars. It's amazing what you can get. And this is going to be the show, basically. This is Jimmy Durante. Most of you should know him from the voice of the narrator of Frosty the Snowman, and he sings the theme song. But these are Toby mugs, and these are fantastic. There's Eisenhower, Groucho Marx, there's Louis Armstrong, there's even Lincoln, General Lee, Robin Hood. It just goes on and on. These, I have a feeling people are going to go crazy for. So, any guesses on what I purchased? Did I win anything? Did I sit there and fall asleep? Well, I almost did fall asleep. It was kind of boring, but that happens sometimes. And, every auction isn't going to be for you. And I knew at preview that there wasn't a lot of items that were like screaming, buy me, buy me, buy me. But that happens. And the Toby mugs were wonderful. And it just wasn't my cup of tea, and I knew those were going to go for really good money, and they did, along with the beer steins. I think some of the beer steins actually sold for a lot more than I expected, and that's the exciting part. There were some little trinket boxes and stuff that was in a locked case that I was going for, but I didn't get them. You're not going to see them. But I did come home with 3 lots, and they're not high profit lots or anything like that, but it is booth filler, and it does help the bottom line and the rent and all that stuff. So I spent around $37, and that does include the taxes and the 12% buyer's premium. Any auction you go to most likely will have some kind of buyer's premium, and that can range in percent. So this one was 12, and let's take a look and see what I got. And the first lot I purchased was these little stuffed animals. And there's this mouse. See, he's got a piece of cheese. These are very dirty. They're really dusty. I have to get them cleaned up here. And then there's this skunk. And I believe he's got a flower that he's licking the nectar out of. And these have pins, push pins, and they're beaded. Now that is an aftermarket addition to these animals, and they are labeled Dream Pets, and I believe they're from the 60s, and I just thought they were adorable. So someone went and did the push pins in them with the beads. That is not something you commonly find. There is one of the skunks similar to this one listed right now that has the push pins, but I really do believe it is an aftermarket thing. I believe cleaned up a little bit. I will put these in my booth for about $20 each. So, little skunk and little mouse. In that same lot, there was a third item that came with it. And that is this jar here. It is just a basic glass jar, but then it looks like someone, I guess you would call that crocheted, some kind of thread work, and then they added these little beads to the stitching, and I think it makes a really interesting bottle. It makes it very pretty and very different. It just has some cotton or something in it, like lamb's wool, and that will also go into my booth. It needs a good cleaning, but that will also go into the booth for about $10. So I spent $20, and I will probably make around $50 on that set. Another lot. This was one lot. And this is a dresser set. And it's really pretty. It comes with the powder, the hair receiver, and then the tray. They are marked, and it says CS Prussia. And I don't know that you're going to be able to see that. Let's see if I can get that in here. Pretty good, I think. CS Prussia. And they have this very pretty, bump the camera, really pretty pink and blue on it. Some gold work on there. Now, I didn't realize sometimes when you're there and you're bidding on things, you don't always get a good look at stuff. I do try to look at everything before I bid, but then something else catches your eye that maybe you didn't see it at the beginning at preview. And this one does have a chip right here. But I do believe, I think I paid $6 for this one, and I'm gonna ask 10 to 12. I won't make a lot on this one because of the chip, but people still do like them, and it's very decorative. It would still look nice. The other set of items that I purchased was just a tray full of random things. It was filled with just a bunch of little knickknacks and stuff like that. The reason I purchased it was because of this item here. This is a wall pocket, and it's of these children, like they're looking over a fence. There's a little dog on there. There's actually two of these. I'm only showing you one. I've claimed the other one for up in my shipping room, and I do want to redo that and add some vintage things on the wall, so when I'm in there working, it's my shipping eBay room. I keep my eBay items, and then all the shipping gets done there. But so I'm selling one and I'm keeping one. And this tray, I believe I paid around $9 for. And so that was one. This is made in Japan. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that on the bottom there. It is marked Japan. I just thought they were darling. And one of the other items that was on there was this little egg dish. It's got some really pretty raised flowers, and there's no chips or cracks on this, which I was really surprised with how raised this was. And this is a trinket dish, And this is from Lefton. And I believe this is a newer Lefton and not the super vintage. This has that bisque type glaze to it, so it's a little like the chalky feeling, which I believe they did those more recently, maybe 80s, I'm not sure, but I don't think they're as vintage as the other Lefton items. There were a lot of just like little figurines and stuff on there too. These will just go into the booth for a couple dollars each. This one is made in Japan. And just a little trinket. This one is made in Germany. And I believe it might go to a nativity or something like that. It can hang on the wall or hang on like the barn type stable, but I'm not sure. And then there's this little girl on a phone. I'm not sure where the phone is, but she just has it in her ear. They didn't have cell phones yet, so I'm not sure what she's doing, but she's cute. And then the other two are just little, one's an angel and one's just another religious one. And these will just, I might even just throw some of these in a bag and just sell it all as one. They were just little extras on the tray. Also on that tray, there was quite a few items. Like I said, there's this vintage pincushion, tomato pincushion, and you wear it on the wrist. Now I haven't seen one like this, but I'm not a sewer, so I'm not always familiar with everything. And this is too small for my wrist, or I would show you, but this will definitely go in the booth. And then there were some little dishes. This one's not marked, but it has some pretty flowers to it. There's no chips or breaks. I think this one has a little chip somewhere on it. And this one's very pretty. This is Limoges. And I'll just use this to put other little things in the booth. I'll price it, so if somebody would want it, it'll be priced. But, I mean, I don't really expect to get much for these. And then there was one more item in that lot, and it is this pin. And it's dried flowers. Whoops, going the wrong way. Still learning my directions here. I'm getting a glare. But I don't know if you can tell. It's dried flowers. And then at the bottom is a seashell here. And it's a pin and it can be worn as a pendant. And it's got like a golden yellow velvet on the back of it. And that'll go into the booth as well. And that is the haul for the auction. And like I said, there wasn't a lot of fantastic items. And that very first video that I said I made that I deleted, that auction was really good. So unfortunately, you know, I didn't get to show you how it could be. But I decided to add a few of my thrift store finds from this week. And at the end here, I found some items that I just want to talk about. Some are very surprising and some I just can't resist to show. So let me show you this first one here. This pin here is just beautiful. This is a World's Fair, New York World's Fair, 1964 to 1965 pin. And on the back, you'll see, it'll say World's Fair, New York, 1964 to 65. And this has been in my favorite little thrift store in Mannheim for about 2 years. It stares at me every time I go in, but it was priced $18.50, and every time I would try to look it up and research, I could not find anything on it. So I just had to keep walking by. And then this past week I went in and there it was, still looking at me. And I said, "Oh, you're still here." So I decided that was the day I was going to ask if they would possibly discount this item since it had been there for almost 2 years. So I asked the cashier and the manager happened to be there, and the manager came back with an offer of $12.50. So again, I still felt it was special, and I couldn't find anything about it, so I did purchase it, as you can see. As soon as I got in the car, I had to go take a picture of it and try photo image search. And it came back as butterfly wing jewelry. So the blue in the globe there, that's the unisphere, that is butterfly wing, real butterfly wing, which I never knew. Like it didn't even come to my mind that that's what that was. So that was really surprising. And once I knew the term butterfly wing, I found it right away, and one recently has sold for around $90. So I'm really happy with this, and I'm excited to get this listed and get it to someone else who will love it just as much. That color is just beautiful. So butterfly wing jewelry, definitely if you have something that has that really pretty blue and you're just not sure what it is, try that term and see if that helps you, because I will definitely be looking up this now. I'm sure that I've passed up other items before because I just didn't know what that material could have been. So that was really fun. This is not a thrift store item, but Saturday I did work at the antique mall at the front desk that I have a booth at, and one of the ladies was setting up, there's a front entrance that we all take turns at, and as like an extra stand, and the lady that has it now was setting up, and she put this handbag out. So end of the day, I just thought it was beautiful. Look at the colors and the texture of it. It's got like, it's almost like cord or thick yarn, like not a thick yarn, but like it's not just thread. It's like it's been twisted, and then it has that nice lucite handle here. That's what really caught my eye, was the color and the handle. And that's the zip handle, your zipper handle, zipper pull. And I want to say this is probably from the late 40s. And it is by a brand called Cord by Luxor. Yeah, Luxor. Cord, C-O-R-D-E. Okay, and so I did look this up, and there's one that sold recently, and there's another one on there listed, and some of them have the pull like this, different design but similar. And let me try and back up here. And some of them actually have like a handle that's lucite, but they're either black or brown. So they're solid black or solid brown. I've not seen any of these in the colors. So I just decided to take a chance on it. I just thought it was beautiful. And I did pay $10 for it. And I think I'm going to list it for $59 or $69 with best offer. So I was really excited about this one. And I would even use this one. So if it doesn't sell, I will put it to good use. And it does come, I forgot to show, it does come with a little pouch, like a wallet, so you can put a few things in. And yeah, it's in good condition. So sometimes you only have 5-10 minutes and you're like, I can still go in there and thrift. Sure, not a problem. I can go in and run. So that's what I did this other day. I happened to be up in Ephrata when I wasn't planning on being up there, and it was right at 5 o'clock, so one of the other thrift stores had already closed, but I thought, oh, there's Goodwill, I'm gonna run. And I'm glad I did. So I didn't find much there, but the one item I did find is this pair of bib overalls. And I'm not a clothing seller. I do list some stuff once in a while. I think I have a couple dresses on right now, but this one is Guess jeans, men's, extra large, and they're very large, so I'm not gonna be able to show you the whole thing, but they do have the button fly here, and they're in really good condition. They have the the guests on the back in the green stitching. And they're just really good condition. And I did pay $7.25. I think that is the jeans price at Goodwill right now here. And these, I believe when I looked them up, I found that they're either 1980s or 1990s. So they're vintage, and one recently sold for around $100. It was on best offer, so it could have been a little under that, but for $7.25, that was a great find, and I'm glad I stopped. The last item I want to show you today, I got at a thrift store, my favorite one again, where I got the butterfly wing jewelry. I did find this one on a different day, and that is this velvet painting. Make sure I get it all in there for you. And I went back and forth. I saw it one day and I did not buy it. I really went back and forth on it, and I left it there, and then I went back like a week later and it was still there, and I just had to get it. You'll see here, there's this cabin. So the frame looked vintage to me, and I always thought velvet painting was from like the 60s and 70s, but I did the research on it and found that velvet painting actually started a long time before that. And what I decided on was, I loved it so much, it does need cleaned, it's very dusty, was on the back that it is written on by whoever purchased it that they bought it on the 22nd of September in 1945. And that's why I bought it. Now you can see it's coming apart. The backing, it's old, it's gonna crumble depending on where it was stored. But what was really interesting when I got home and looked this up, you're gonna see my eyes, is this here. Okay, this says J. Christie. Now, I looked that up and I didn't find anything on J. Christie, but what you see here, let me try to do it this way, is right here, it's stamped, and then someone wrote underneath it so you could still read it, and that says Stall 63, Pike Public Market. I don't know if it sounds familiar to you. It sounds kind of familiar to me. And I searched it, and it kept coming up Seattle, Washington, because of Pike's Place. Most of us have heard of Pike's Place, but what I didn't read in here in pencil even later, it does say Seattle, Washington, which makes me believe even more that this was purchased at that market. So doing research, I did find back in the 40s that Pike's Place Market was called Pike's Public Market at that time. So this was purchased at the market there in 1945. So couldn't find anything on the artist. I think it is wonderful. I think I'm going to be putting this in the booth. I may have hinted a little bit earlier in my intro that I have some exciting things coming up, some news. I can't give it to you right yet. It'll be on the next video, but it does have to do with traveling, so not sure this will travel well. So this is probably going to go into the booth, but it's just beautiful. I'm glad I found it. So thank you for hanging out with me for a little while, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.